right around the time I figured out how my Live Nation contract worked. And it was right around the time I figured out how my record deal actually worked.
And how did that make you feel?
Oh my God, it's worse than I thought. Oh my God, it's worse than I thought.
I got off stage, I said, I'm done. I'm done.
Jon Bellion was recently on the George Janko podcast. For the first time in about 6 years, he's kind of been like on the internet, to be honest. This dude is one of my favorite producers coming up. Dude made so many amazing beat making videos and was one of the people that inspired the entire existence of me on the internet, Kyle Beats, making beat making videos, inspired by Jon Bellion. I took so much stuff from what he was doing musically. I've kind of already skimmed through some of the podcasts because I was like, man, this is crazy, but I'm just gonna react to it, say my thoughts as a YouTube music producer and someone who has kind of like stayed away from the industry a little bit.
A label giving a producer 6 points out of 100 is the equivalent of them sitting on a cow and a UFC fight is happening and they go drop us one steak. Tell the 6 producers who worked on the song, the 6 writers who worked on the song, go fight for it and figure it out. And everyone's like, I get the little fatty piece on the end because I made most of the song. And these guys are like, look at these idiots. We have 97 points and they're fighting for 3. And they think that they should be grateful if we give them 7.
Yeah, it's funny. The only fucking industry that talks about percentages as points is the music industry. 3-pointer, it's 3%, but they would never say 3%.
Instead of 6. What a bunch of morons. That's literally what they're all thinking. Laughing hysterically while we're in the basement like, my soul, and I'm just trying to express myself and all the culture and how to change culture. These guys are like, great job, keep doing it and give us more so we can get 97% of it.
It's crazy that Jon Bellion is right here talking about this because like, man, Jon Bellion is like the most artistic, like naturally artistic. Not only does he have such an amazing talent for producing, writing, singing, and performing and all this stuff, like he's also written so many songs for other people that have gone crazy. Monster by Rihanna, Holy, Justin Bieber, one of the most naturally, like, this is what you're supposed to do in life. Most people get tied by the emotional side of music. This is my journal that people are listening to. I'm changing people's lives. I'm inspiring millions of people. Everyone's cheering my name. And it kind of pulls on the strings of your emotion as an artist. Most people, when they're younger, don't think about the financial side. I think I've always had this balance of like, you know, I had a whole life before music, so I never got pulled whatever fucking deals that were ahead of me. I kind of just denied them all because I know that being in control of what I'm doing will ultimately make me happier because it always comes back around. You know, you navigate a couple things wrong in the industry and your buzz dies and it can be over so quickly.
I'm sorry, you're sitting at that chair and your back's hunched over because you've done it for so many hours. For then you to finally get an opportunity to work with a big artist and the label tells you you're lucky to be working with them, here's 2 points, go flying fuck yourself. Go flying fuck yourself. Not cool, bro. Not cool, bro. I've seen it, I've done it, I've participated in it, and it's crazy. Granted, a lot of artists that are working right now, and a lot of artists are coming up, and the reason that the music industry is crumbling is because these artists are getting 50 points. They're getting 50 points. But right now in the industry, I'm talking about the industry of writers and producers. First of all, as a writer, I should be getting master points. I should not be getting publishing. Should not be getting publishing. We should get publishing, and we should have even splits on the publishing, that's fine. We should be getting master points as well. To not have that is publishing, you make money at the radio. I don't know who's still listening to the radio. Someone is, because there's still a lot of money in advertising. When you get a hit record, as a writer, you make money on the publishing. But as a writer, you don't see the streaming money because you don't get any points. And the label has 100 of them.
The biggest issue, if you really look at the outside world of it, is in the movie industry, people stopped going to movies, paying for movies, and people started illegally streaming movies. And what happened is Netflix came from it, digital streaming platforms. What Netflix does is they say, hey, Jerry Seinfeld, comedians in cars getting coffee, we want you to do this whole series. We love the pilot. We'll give you a blank amount of tens of millions of dollars or whatever for the series. And that's it, we'll make it back on the subscription. The problem is the music industry crumbled 20 freaking years ago. 2008, 7, 6, it started to crumble. No one bought CDs anymore. It was all on the internet. Everyone's listening to LimeWire and all that stuff. The music industry crumbled, but what happened is there's all these like labels and people are going to get signed just to put your music on a Spotify or Apple Music when it should be Spotify or Apple Music should be the gatekeepers, offering deals to artists. The music industry has crumbled and the result is like the labels just go, okay, we're not selling CDs, let's just give them money up front it's good business by the labels. So many people have fallen for it that it's too late. These big labels and corporations already have a monopoly over the industry. It's tough as a producer. It's like, why do you think I'm making YouTube videos? I would be so headfirst into the music industry if it wasn't like producers getting screwed. Back when people were selling CDs and there was such a bigger budget, the Backstreet Boys would drop an album and it would do like box office numbers. It would do what a movie does in a weekend. It would do freaking X amount of millions of things. People go to Best Buy to buy it. And now it's like you drop a thing and it's like, man, it doesn't really do the same numbers or anything even close, like, because there's no product attached to it anymore. It's a free product. And then there's so many freaking 16-year-olds in the world that are just gonna take a quick, here's $4,000 and 3%. 99.999% of producers are gonna hop on that, and then they just own the music. It's like, that's something he's not mentioning in this thing, is like producers are getting percentages, but they're also getting fees up front.
If I write Holy for Justin Bieber and I have 3 points on that song, that's a $2 million song. Out of 3 points, there's 100. Oh, shut up, you're rich, shut up, you're rich. That's not the point. I didn't even plan this. There would be a renaissance in music if the labels, if everybody gave the writers and the producers more points, because then we don't have to make that much bullshit. We can only make a little bullshit. There's artists that I want to work with that I might not ever even work with, because it's like I have a family to feed, I have things to do. I can't just do my passion projects. I can't just do that. Starving artists die hungry. If you want to be a leader and provide for your family and you still want to make music, you're gonna have to make some decisions to, okay, this isn't the most like greatest thing I've ever worked on, but like, man, this is where my job is. And a lot of people are in that position now. They want to work on artistically great stuff. They do. These producers, they really want to work, but they also need to feed their families. So the first 10 years of them working on records is working with artists that they'd probably not want to. But if you gave them 20 points from the label side, labels, if you're even here in the next 5 years, you should be giving them more points, because then they'll be inspired to work with their favorite artists to make their favorite music that doesn't have to sound like something that's on the radio. I'm only talking about the writer and producer industry.
I think that there could be a way better job done with all of that stuff, to the point where everyone will make more money. Look at like a Travis Scott, or like artists that are around for longer are gonna have, like a Taylor Swift. If you're around for 10, 15 years, you're gonna bring in way bigger numbers, but a lot of the times labels are more interested in the next hot upcoming thing to send out there and get some money, sign them to a 3-album deal, but not put out the next 2 albums, and then the artist disappears. But I think it'd be more valuable to build up more people and work with more artists long term. Most people at labels don't even know what an 808 is, so it's like they don't even know shit about the music to even do that. And the A&Rs are just people that used to be so-and-so's manager that needed a job and had a connection. So,
but that goes with acting as well. Like, a lot of people are like, "Yo, I just wrote this script. You made all this money, and I only got the $50K that you gave me to write it." That's crazy. That
Crazy.
Well, that's why there was the SAG strike.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
let's just
let me
take
tell
this.
you something. Writers and producers, you know how expensive SAG-AFTRA is to pay for as a writer and producer for me to get dental for my family? I'm okay. I'm making good money. I've been successful, but I've had to be juggernaut Olympian successful just to have benefits that normal people who work at a dentist's office get. And it's like, no, bro. There's no way, bro. None of these writers and producers, they're living on ramen noodles. And then it's like, oh, by the way, X artist, who's an enormous artist, is going to take 92% of the song you wrote 100% of. You're lucky to have your 8%. It will give you your first check and you'll buy your first home off of it. But then the artist who's eating ramen noodles will always take that deal because they don't have any money. So you're putting them in a rough position. Yeah. That's a tough thing to do.
You said, if I don't do it, the hungry kid that is right behind me and the thousands that are lined up behind him.
Yeah, there's a kid at Berkeley. There's a kid at Berkeley watching this right now. That's like, my mom's paying me getting sandwiches in the cafeteria. I got to get this thing off the ground. So like a young 19-year-old, 18-year-old John, someone comes with $10,000 and is like, yo, you're rich, bro. Come and sign this thing and do this thing. They might even know they're getting screwed over, but the door might not even be able to get open unless you sign with the right person or you do the right thing, which is, so it's a whole convoluted thing. And even as I move forward in the publishing space or in the label space or whatever, I'm gonna at least try to like really inform people with, hey, if you want to sign with me, we're dedicated to making great art, we're dedicated to making high product, and you need to call your lawyer and understand what you're getting into.
Yeah, they offer one-sided deals, dude. That's presented in this way of like, here you go, dude. I've at least been offering better deals than fucking a label. I offer more percentage, and like most of the time if I work with another producer, I'm producing the song. And I'll still offer more than I should be offering. More than the song is gonna make, giving higher royalties so that they're at least involved in the fucking thing. Labels offer one-sided deal. Deals that support the label. You need to have leverage, bro. You need to fight to have leverage in the music industry. At least make money somehow. You need to be somewhat savvy, but most people are not like that, dude. Like, it just sucks for people that, you know, they're so creative and they don't maybe not have a business mind, but they're musical geniuses.
If somebody put $1 million in front of your face and your last 3 generations have never seen more than 50 grand, you're like, yo, I'm rich forever. I'm rich forever. $1 million, I'm rich forever. And you buy a house, you don't really, Uncle Sam takes 50, and your manager takes 10, and your business manager takes 4, and everybody's shocked when you're in the red. Music money ain't what it used to be because these labels are holding on to all the money. And they've done it for a long time, and I think people are probably figuring that out. That's probably why they're crumbling.
Conversations like this is what opens people's eyes.
The thing I lament toward, and the thing that I relate to a lot, is that even with myself, it's like when an artist asks you to work and they're signed to a label and the label owns the master, and then you think, I deserve 20 points on this song, but you think in your head, like, oh, it's Justin Bieber. It's like, man, this is going to be a big notch in my belt. And people are going to ask me that in interviews. And you work with Justin Bieber. And that's going to do a lot for my career.
Yeah.
And the problem is you're always front loading. You're always saying, I know they're screwing me here, but this is going to do a lot for my career.
Yeah.
I know they're contractually screwing me and monetarily screwing me. I'm not talking about like morals and like trying to be famous and all that stuff. That's like another tabled, you know, conversation. But I get it though, because I do that. It's like if a giant artist wants to work with me, or someone who's makes my brand be more viable and my relevance is still there, it's like, oh, fine, I'll take the 3 points.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I do think like, you know, look at any other like area, like look at the NBA, look at like different sports leagues, look at different areas. Like money in the music industry is like 99% going towards fucking 4 labels. Like 99% of it is going towards the 4 same companies, and 1% of it is like getting dribbled out to the rest of the people. Keep in mind, this is like billions of dollars a year. You know, how many billions of dollars? So many billions of dollars a year is being made in the music industry. I wonder what would happen if you just gave more money to the artists, to the people creating the music. You know what though? When you think about it like Jon Bellion, like, yeah, we'll give him more percentage and he's gonna make the money back. The problem is they're dishing out 100K advances, almost like venture capitalists, taking all of the music, and then one of them works and it pays for the rest. They're treating it like an investment, like venture capitalists, because they don't know what artists are gonna work. When you sign a deal with the NBA, I see what this guy can do. He's putting up 30 points a night. Okay, let's sign him and give him freaking $10 million as a signing bonus. You can't do that with music. They'll invest millions of dollars on just like these people. 9 out of 10 of them won't actually do something, but that 10th person will become a massive artist. I mean, it's impossible to know who's gonna blow up. You can't determine a hit artist. You know what though? That's their only leverage. Labels' only leverage is the money. The only reason we're getting into a label as a producer artist is collaborating with other artists that are on labels. You know, that's the only leverage they really have other than money.
I've always fallen in and out of love with the idea of notoriety and whatever. So being an artist was always a battle for me. It was always some sort of like weird like fight or something to that degree. I got to a place in my career, we sold out 10,000 people at Jones Beach. I mean, it was like the height of everything for me, and it was right around the time I figured out how my Live Nation contract worked, and it was right around the time I figured out how my record deal actually worked.
And how did that make you feel?
Oh man, it was like panic attack.
That's crazy, dude. The fact that you're on a tour in your hometown, selling out 10,000 fucking people. 10,000 people is a shit ton of people. That's an arena. That's an amphitheater. Around that time, that's mega success, and you're figuring out how your fucking your record deal works, how your touring deal works.
Like, oh my gosh, if A plus B equals C, like I'm never gonna pay this back. I'm gonna be on the road 11 months a year just trying to pay back, and we can get into that. How
but
much
also,
Live
like,
Nation's...
that's crazy because think about it. You're at the very, very top, but then there's a thing that people don't understand. It's the business part of it.
Yeah, and Live Nation is they're going 12. They're getting everybody coming 12 ways, 12 times a Tuesday. We can get into that, and that's what I'm.
Are you with Live
about.
Nation?
No, I paid myself out of the deal, and I had to pay 25% extra on what they advanced me. But it's like when you figure that out on the road, and you're thinking, man, why did we buy 300 rolls of toilet paper? Why do we have to spend this much on catering every day? No one's eating the pizza. We're throwing out pies. Wait a second, what? In my contract it says...
Because it's not their money,
you got to spend this much on catering and it comes out of my pocket?
Yeah.
But then I have to pay in advance back? And by the way, the advance that you have to give me is only on hard ticket sales. So the concept's called peanuts, parking, and alcohol. So when I sell out 10,000 people at Jones Beach, the person who buys a $20 hot dog, I don't see a dime of that. The person who buys $40 for parking, I don't see a dime of that.
The biggest scam in the music industry, getting an advance and thinking that and recouping on the advance. Or let's just say per song, right? For a producer, I'm a producer. You get an advance for, we'll call it 5,000 to make it even. You then get 5 points on the song. 5 points equals 5%. 5 out of 100%. You know, you got to pay taxes on this money. This isn't a fucking W-2. If you're not used to being your own boss, at least minus 2,000 from it, probably 3,000. So you got $3,000, dude. We'll say like something like this. Well, I got $5,000 and I got 5%. But the way this works, recouping the advance, you recoup based off of your 5%. So let's see, how many streams would it take for you to recoup the $5,000? 5,000 would mean 5 million streams divided by 4. So you need 1 million streams for the song to recoup 5,000, right? That's how it works? No, that's not how it works. You recoup your money based off of 5%. So in other words, in order for you to start collecting 5%, the song has to make $100,000 already, which if you do the math, is 25 million streams. So when it comes to Jon and his touring thing, Jon would start collecting money on his tour when they make $33 million in just the ticket sales. He would start making money on the tour. So if he got $1 million advance, the tickets would have to end up making $33 million just for him to recouping, which sounds fucking crazy. And not to mention, if he's on tour for 2 months, they're making money, like he's saying, on parking, food, alcohol. This promotion company is making all this money, who knows how much money, every single night. So not only are they making money on this is why labels do stuff like this. This is why they're able to scarf out money, because look at how much money they're able to make off of a measly 1 million. They're able to do this with so many different artists all over the globe, all over the US, and not care, because they're making so much more on the upside when something goes well.
The person who buys a $20 vodka and Red Bull, I don't see a dime of that. And then you advance me $1 million and tell me I'm rich, to then find out that you're making $4 million a night. And it takes me 36 shows to pay back the $1 million you advanced me.
Oh, there's the fucking data right there, my ladies and gentlemen. I was literally pretty fucking close to that, eh? Okay, so $1 million is the advance. They're making $4 million a night times 36 shows. Oh my God, it's worse than I thought. Oh my God, it's worse than I thought. $100 million, dude.
You can make our money off of your creation.
Yes. But I figured, and then it hit me, oh my gosh, they own all the venues. It's a monopoly. So then now they just want my body in this room so they can sell food and alcohol and whatever. So then they're going to make tons of money. And then they got me like schlepping around the United States talking about, I want to be famous, being on Instagram, trying to be this, that, and the third. So when you figure that out, and at the time, this is right when I first got with my wife, I was having panic attacks. I was like, wait a second. Joe Schmo pays $20 for a hot dog and I don't see that. And if I'm only making my advance back on hard ticket sales, that means I have to sell out every single venue in order to not go in the red, because I'm only paying my advance back on hard ticket sales. And by the way, they reserve the right in the contract to put the tickets on sale. So when it's $100 a ticket and they do their summer blowout sale, the tickets are only $10. So instead of me paying back $90 a ticket, right before I go on tour, they drop a Jon Bellion sale and the tickets are only $10.
And that's how they
get into it.
And that's how they never recoup the advance.
But then you have to pay back the $1 million they gave you off of $10 a ticket rather than the $90 they told you they were going to sell the tickets for. Because now you're doing arenas. Now you're doing bigger shows. And they're like, they got you coming 12 times a Tuesday.
When you found
unbelievable.
when you found all this out, were you in the middle of a tour? Were you still having to?
I was in the middle of a breakdown. If that's the case, what does my record contract look like?
So a lot of these artists that you see that you're like, man, so and so fell off, is the craziest statement. They might not have fallen off. Do you know what I mean? They might not have fallen off, and it might be something a little bit deeper and stuff that we have no idea.
Well, where was this business mind before you signed the papers?
It's a business mind of a young Italian kid that only knows the lawyer in his neighborhood that that when I was paid $10,000 when I signed my first publishing deal, I thought I was rich forever. You know, I think that's the idea. I think there's somewhat of a, it's not going to be some like giant, this is the Matrix thing, but like there is a group of people that wait to prey on new ideas that are coming from natural places to then put a amount in front of you that is the most you've ever seen in your life, and you're not realizing what it is. It's like I'm eating ramen noodles every night. You gonna give me 10 grand to make beats?
It's tough though, because as someone who's gone fully like independent and controlling my own stuff, thinking about planning a fucking tour, working with venues, working with all this stuff, and doing it all so that you can take, you know, the majority of the income, it sounds extremely overwhelming. But if I was in that position, like doing all that would not be easy and would take away from the craft that got me on the fucking tour in the first place. So it's not easy to do that. I know people have had success doing it. Kevin Hart has done it with his comedy stuff, but I'm sure he's also gone through this section and figured it out, and then you have to just get punched in the face and make a little bit of money but stay relevant. It's almost like you have to go through this if you're going to go through this like system of corporations. Like,
so when my whole contract thing started to really dissipate in my mind, it's like it opened up this whole reality of what this whole thing was. And I as my wife is my witness, it was 10,000 people at Jones Beach in my hometown. It's crazy. This early, it's terrible to get emotional already. I got off stage, I said, I'm done. I'm done.
You stopped your tour.
You said you're done,
I finished my tour.
but you're not.
Oh, no, absolutely. But it's just like, I've had this conversation millions of times for the last 6 years, and I've been so blessed to make music for other people, to keep my ideas alive. Like John Batiste, Bieber, talented people, man, that have decided to work with me, that I'm in a better position now to release my own stuff. I'm gonna have to go on a tear, but I want to move back home. I just, all right, God, so it's all right.
You submitted.
It's over for me. I told my wife I'm gonna work at McDonald's. It's over. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna have the studio in the basement. I'll work with my friends and we'll see what happens. And it was like, pew, 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 hit after hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. And it was like, I'm just very grateful looking back on it, because it's just like, this is the first time I told the story. So when you see I don't have social media on my phone. I haven't had it for 6 years.
I feel like there's there's been so many conversations like this that have happened, and I feel like there's gotta be some sort of solution. I mean, you look at like a Connor Price, you look at Russ, you look at Nick D, you look at people that have had success by themselves as an artist. You know, there's a way to do it right now if you want to be on the big stage, and you know, you have to be super strategic and smart in order to navigate your way through. You know, you have to wake up, drink a coffee, be in business meetings and stuff like that. If you're just this purebred artist and that's all you want to do is make songs, it's like you better have someone next to you that can help you do that. And you gotta like know a little bit about everything. You know, as a YouTuber, as a music producer, it's like, I know a little bit about everything. I can go and talk with my engineer. I want you to like make this stereo, make this mono. I want you to, can you EQ like these frequencies right here? They seem a little too harsh. I can talk with my video guy about like fucking lighting and key lights and stuff like that. Someone I'm developing something with about code and hosting and, you know, making a website. If I'm working with other producers, I can be like, hey, I'm trying to get something like this. And you gotta know a little bit about everything, and because at the end of the day, you're kind of an entrepreneur. I would recommend to artists or someone who is creative in their own ways, like if you're just a creative in your field and you just like, I just don't want to deal with it, you better find someone that's going to be by your side, that you're going to like give them a piece of the cake, that wants to deal with it, that's smart. And you might have to go through a couple people. So yeah, you know, my thoughts are, I hope things change. You have to create some sort of value if you don't want to get screwed over. Know that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and like maybe take your time and be patient with it instead of just signing some shit at 18 and then at 22, you're all fucking tatted up and, you know, dyed your hair blonde 3 times and you have nothing to fucking show for it. Because that's been a common thing. But shout out to Jon Bellion. I fucking love you, dude. And